Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. We're out of the shop today and we are working on a chicken coop project. Kind of stepped away from the pump house build. I'll get back on that here in a little bit. This is going to take priority for now because we can use our water currently, even though it's a hassle, but our chickens are going to need a home and soon. So let's get started on this. As you can see, I've kind of cleared an area out for where the coop is going to be. It's a fairly shaded area, and their run will be out this direction, so they'll be able to get out in the sun when they want to. We're also going to free range them a bit, so they'll be able to get out and run around the backyard, eat bugs, keep bugs out of our garden, which will be nice. So yeah, I'm going to build the coop right here. It's going to be movable, so I'm not going to set the post in concrete or anything. And my building materials may be a little strange, but compared to what most people would normally use, but that's okay because they were all free. And yeah, you've probably seen the short of me scrounging all that up. My employer relocated recently, and I was sent back to our old shop to help finish up cleanup, and we had some big shelving units that needed to be torn down, and I scrounged all this material out of those. So yeah, it's going to work out really nice, I think. But anyways, the coop's going to be 4x8. I'll keep it simple. 4x8 sheet for the floor, 4x8 sheet for probably the front and back walls. I'll have nesting boxes built out of the back wall, so I can put a hinged lid on them, making it easy for us to collect eggs and stuff. But yeah, we'll just get started to see how we go. I've got some treated 4x4 posts that I was able to scrounge from a shelving unit. I've got some 1x10, I believe these might be 1x12s. Got 1x4s. I'm going to do most of the framing out of 1xs, mainly because I got it and it was free. I've got a bunch of 5/8 OSB that I'll be using for the floor and the walls, and that should work out really well. I'll probably be painting this. I will be wrapping the outside of it, and I think I've got some extra siding laying around here, so I may side it in vinyl. And I've got some metal roofing left over from another project, which should be enough to cover it, give it some overhangs, yada yada yada. So let's get started. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the 1x there, which is going to be the main support for the floor, setting the top of that at 36 inches off the ground. Now I'll have to use shims or what have you to level this thing up once it's done, kind of like you would a pre-built shed. But yeah, once I get this set up, and I can shim these posts, get it all leveled up. But yeah, the plan is for the base to be 4x8 approximately, so a full sheet of OSB will make the floor and make it simple. So I've cut these cross braces here 1.5 inches short of 8 feet because these boards are 3/4 inches thick. So when I run the outside boards that are going to set the depth of the coop, that will add 1.5 inches to the overall width because it'll be 3/4 on each side. So when we take our sheet of plywood or OSB, we'll just notch it around the post, set it down, and it will be 8 feet by 4 feet exactly. Okay, we've got the main structure sort of built out here. We've got 1x4s, 16 on center across the bottom to support the floor. And we're gonna go over this with 5/8 OSB. We will notch out around the post. And yeah, should be able to get the base done here in just a minute. And then we'll work our way up to the top. Well, we got our floor for the coop down. It's all screwed down, should be good and solid. So now we're gonna work our way up. I need to do the side supports from here down for the roof line. And hold on, bud. And get the roof supports or the rafters put in up there and get that ready. And then figure out what we're going to do as far as the walls. On this side here, I'm going to have the main door for cleaning this out. And I'm going to have the entrance for the birds up here. And I will probably have some windows on the front here that are closable. They'll be screened off to keep the bugs out. And on the back side here, all along this area will be where their nesting boxes will be. I'm going to build off the back, come back and down, and it'll have a hinged lid. I'm also going to do an overhang off the roof up here that comes off here and goes over and covers the top of this to keep the rain off of it. That way when we want to come out and collect our eggs and stuff, we'll just be able to open it up and reach down in their boxes. So that should work out pretty well. That is the plan anyways. I'm also going to integrate a feeding system and watering system into this. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to implement it yet, but yeah, I want it as simple as possible. So anyways, let's keep going. So I've got the roof layout, I think, how I want it. I stepped it up 3/4 of an inch, which is the thickness of these, so I can lay these flat up here. Just run them front to back, and I'm going to give myself a nice overhang, and I'm going to deck the whole top with probably 1/2 inch or 7/16 OSB. I'll use the thinnest piece I've got out there from the recovered wood, and that should be plenty. There won't be much weight on this. It's also going to get a metal roof on top of it, so it'll be able to support plenty of weight, little limbs and snow, stuff like that. But right now I'm trying to sort out these nesting boxes. So I've got a bunch of these shelf dividers. They're 24 inches long, and I think what I'm going to do is I've got a 2x4 set here. I think I'm going to shoot it in on both sides. I'm going to put one on the back as well, and then these will go up on top, and that will be the start of my box, I think. So I'm kind of winging this, and that's usually how I build things. I'm not very good at just sitting down and planning it out, because then things typically go wrong. Whereas if I just start putting things together with an idea in my head, it typically works out for me. And I don't know why that is, but that's just how I do things. So I'm gonna go on and get these nesting boxes sorted out, so I can get the back wall cut and made, and start getting the walls up, get the roof on it, and go from there. Can nesting boxes be too big? Better do a little research on this. Let's shorten this up. This piece of OSB is 24 inches deep. So I'm going to go on and mount it, and I think I will cut it off probably between 12 and 14 inches. Might do it 12, because these are 24 inches long. I can cut them in half and get more boxes that way. I'm going to be building more nesting boxes than we need, but that is in case our flock grows, which, based on how the kids and wife are acting around the chicks, I have a feeling we're going to have a bigger flock sooner than later. So we're going to build this big enough to accommodate at least a dozen, if not more. So yeah, let's keep going. I think we've got our nesting box figured out, or boxes I should say. You might be wondering why I did this double step deal. We're going to be using the deep litter method in here, so I wanted at least a decent amount of height here for bedding down low before we had to worry about getting into the nesting boxes. So I raised it up the width of a 1x4. Well, these may be 1x3s actually. I'm not even sure. Never measured them. Yeah, technically they're 1x3s. So anyways, a 1x3 up, then the thickness of the floor, then a 1x3 up here for the front ledge. But now I need to measure this back, trim this off at either 12 or 14 inches. I think I'm going to go with 12, and then I can put the dividers in place and we can plan out our exterior sheeting. We've got our nesting boxes. We've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 full-size boxes, and then 2 slightly smaller boxes on the ends. and I think that'll work out. So let's go around here. I've got my pieces here, so I've got something to screw my paneling to all the way down the sides. That'll make it nice and stiff. I still got to run one up. I'm probably just going to run it here forward to attach my paneling for the sides. I've got one ran across the back on the bottom and up here on the top to put my OSB on the back. I still have to make the lid for this, which isn't a big deal. And then come up here and we'll do our roof. We'll probably leave an overhang up here, probably several inches past the boxes, just to help keep the rain off. I'll probably come off the side a little bit as well. I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, it's coming along pretty quick actually. So next up, I'm gonna get these side pieces cut and put in, and then probably go on and move up to the roof structure and hopefully get it buttoned up. And then all we'll have left to do is put the sheeting on it. So let's keep going. Well, I've got the roof sheeting on, and I've got to call it a day. Got some family stuff to attend to, so probably come back out tomorrow and work on the sidewalls and get that buttoned up. But made a lot of progress today. We'll have a decent overhang. I haven't trimmed that off yet. So have an overhang on the front, and we'll have an overhang on the back. I'll go through and trim all those off. Still put a little support across the back yet. But yeah, that'll keep the rain off the laying boxes. And then I'll have a lid here that'll open up, let easy access to all the laying boxes. It'll be walled off, obviously. I will have a door on this side for main clean out, which the reason for this here is again for that deep bedding method we'll be using. So every time we open the door, the bedding doesn't fall out. I've still got to do a little bit of bracing across the front to support the sheeting there, and figure out windows. I'm gonna have a couple easy little homemade windows in it that'll have some mesh screen in it to keep most of the bugs and stuff out. But yeah, it's come along. I will come back along in here and fill these gaps in along the roof line to again help keep pests out. But we'll get it buttoned up and get it sealed up. I think I can pretty well get the rest of it done tomorrow. I won't be back home early enough this evening, so I think I can get it buttoned up tomorrow. We'll see just how that plays out. But everything but the feeder and water for it, and then we'll have to build their run. So still got a bit to do, but hey, they're only a couple days old now, so we got a little bit of time. But yeah, so I'm gonna call that for today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, another day has pretty well come and went, and I didn't record much of anything, but as you can see, made a good bit of progress. Let's take a look here. We've got most of our exterior skin on. This here is going to be the clean out door. So you can tell we've got a fairly good sized lip here. We're going to do the deep bedding method as mentioned before. What that does is your bedding down on the bottom here is extra deep, and anytime you start to get a smell to it or what have you, you add more bedding. And you only clean this out 2 to 3 times a year typically, from what I've read. We'll see how that goes, but it automatically composts inside this, and it takes care of all the smell and everything else. It's pretty well self-maintaining from what I've read and researched. So we'll play with it, see how it goes. If we don't like it, we'll do something different. But got back here, got the back wall done. We've got all this up through here where the roof meets the back wall, or the sheeting has been foamed. Don't know if it'll last, but we'll see for now. And got the opening for our nesting boxes. So be able to reach into each one of these. I do still have to build a lid that will be hinged, and it will be out of the weather with a nice overhang on it. And this part here will probably come out past this a little bit, just to keep water from making it down in the boxes. But let's come around here. I do not have the top section put on yet, just to kind of make it easier to get stuff in and out of here while I'm working. But there's how all the nesting boxes turned out, which should work pretty well. I still have to add my the roosting poles, which I think I will run front to back. I'll use the tops of the nesting boxes, probably every other one, to support that side of the pole, and I'll run it forward. I still have to run a section across here, run it forward and support it up here. That'll give plenty of nesting poles for the birds to sleep on. And then I still have to figure out how I'm going to do the feeder and the water. I would like to build a system that will be accessible from the outside, be able to fill it from the outside. The watering system, I believe I'm going to do a rainwater setup on, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But we'll see what happens. It's going to have a metal roof on it. It'll be easy enough to run a gutter off this backside, do a first flush, and run it into like a 55-gallon drum, and I can do an automatic fill off of one of the on a feeder setup or a water setup inside. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But this video is going to be pretty long, so I think I will cut this one off there, and we'll do a part 2 on it as things progress. We've got a few months before the birds will be out here, so but I plan to keep pretty consistent on work on this. I want to get it done, and that way I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and we appreciate you watching.